Hi, this is Akshay and I work as a DevRel at Maxim. In this video, I'll be showing you how you can observe your ReAct agent. ReAct agent means reasoning plus action AI agents. So before we go ahead and see how you can write your own ReAct agent and then push your logs to Maxim platform, let's first understand what exactly this ReAct agent means. So first of all, you are definitely going to start with a prompt. The user will provide a prompt based on the action or the requirement that the user wants to fulfill using this AI agent. Let's say the user wants the AI agent to go and search for the nearby banquet halls for the marriage, right? So this can be a simple task, and for this task, the agent is expected to make a web search that can be called as an action or a tool call, and then collect the data and then present the data in the best possible format to the user. So this is a simple task that we want from our agent to be done. Okay, so the user will put a prompt and the agent work will now start, and agent will start with a thought process, right? So this thought process is being done by the LLM, the intelligence layer of our agent, right? It can be a GPT-4 model, it can be a Gemini model. Basically, that LLM is acting as the intelligence layer, which is doing all the intelligence work for us. Then, based on the thought, an action will be taken. Let's say web search is a tool call or a function call. That is an action that is taken by the agent, right? Now, based on the action, there will be some results or observations, or some data will be collected. Now, that data or the output will be observed by the agent. Observation is also again done by the LLM itself. So, agent or the LLM will actually observe the outputs or the data that we have got. Based on the output, based on the data, and again a decision will be made whether to finish the task, finish the overall work that was assigned, or to again continue and do the thought process again. So let's say there was a search or a web search that was made. Because of some issues, the data was not collected. We did not get the banquet halls information. So again, the process will continue and it will go to the thought process. Again, the action or the function call will be made, and this cycle will continue. But if we got the expected information, the task will be finished and the information will be presented to the end user in the best possible format. So this is how reasoning plus action. As you can see, some reasoning is being done and then some action is being taken. That's how ReAct agents work. Now, because we know how ReAct agents work, we can go ahead and see how to build a simple ReAct agent using Python. So I'm going to provide this collab notebook in the description. So first of all, I'm going to install Maxim Pi. So we are going to use Maxim as a platform, which will be used to observe our agent. So the agent that we're going to build, we will be having some logs which need to be pushed to the Maxim so that we can see how our agent performed the action or performed the overall task that was assigned, right? In a bit, you will understand the significance of all of these modules that we are importing. Then from maxim.maxim, I'm importing maxim config and logger config so that we can initialize our maxim logger. Then from maxim.logger, there are certain classes that I need to import. Component.session, import session config. Then from components.trace, I'm importing trace config, import span and span config, and generation config and generation error. So all of these modules will be used to push our logs or traces or spans to the Maxim, so that there also we get the structured traces that can be used for visualization and analysis, right? So after that, I'm just importing OS module, and from google.collab import user data so that we can access the notebook secrets. Then I'm accessing Maxim API key and Maxim log repo ID. So let's go to Maxim. Maxim API key, you can go to settings and create your own new API key. For logs, logger ID, log repository ID, let's go to logs, create a new repository. Let's call it as ReAct agent. Let's click on create. Let's click on continue. Copy this log repo ID, go to notebook secrets, and over here I'm going to replace my previous log repo ID with the new one, and perfect. Now let's just run this cell and let's run this cell. So now in my environment, I have set Maxim API key and Maxim log repo ID, and as you can see, our logger is also initialized. Perfect. Now what I'm doing, I'm creating some tool calls or the tools or the functions, right? So first function actually takes a URL and it's a Wikipedia URL, and it can fetch the information from that Wikipedia page. So whenever we need to get the summary of some important person or place or anything that we want to search, this tool call can be made to Wikipedia and we can fetch the information. And we don't need to get the complete HTML page. We can fetch the relevant content for the user from that page. So this is a simple get summary function that we have created. Next function that I've created is a quick math function that can evaluate an expression. So let's say if I pass 2 plus 2 or 2 divided by 2, it can evaluate that expression and return the output. So this is the second tool call that we have created. It makes a simple API call to JSON placeholder where some to-dos are there. And this definitely can be your own database. It can be your RAG system where you have certain files, or you have your own vector database where you want to fetch some information. For this simple use case, we are just using this sample placeholder API, which can, if you pass a to-do ID, as you can see, we are passing one, which is a to-do ID. If you pass that ID, it will return you the information about that to-do that you need to perform, right? So we have created these three tools which will be provided to our agent, and whenever required or whenever asked, it can make these tool calls. Perfect. Next thing is the LLM. So I'm using Gemini model, Gemini 2 Flash model as our intelligence layer. So I'm just using Gen AI package from Google itself. Just create a Gen AI client and provide the Gemini API key, which you can get from Google AI Studio. Provide the model, and this module or this client can be used to make LLM calls. As you can see in the demo, I provided, hey, I have 2 dogs in my house, and it understood that. And now after that, I continued the chat and asked how many paws are there in my house. So it will count all the paws and it will return you the output. So basically, it can also maintain the conversation state. Okay. Next thing is a chat class that I'm creating so that it can, I can also insert Maxim code into it. Whenever we need to push the logs to Maxim, I am doing that. So over here, as you can see, I just created a constructor which initializes the system message. I'm going to show you what is the system message, then the empty list of messages, so that it can maintain the conversation state also. And after that, as soon as in the constructor itself, I am assigning one sample message or the system message. The role will be system, content will be system. Okay, system is the system message which I have initialized below. After that, you just use your client and send this message to Gemini so that our conversation has been initialized over here. Next thing is, as soon as you get a message from the user or the assistant, you need to pass that message to Maxim, push that log to Maxim, which will be either an assistant message or the user message. So in this case, this message is from a user, so role will be user, content will be the message from the user, and create a generation config. In this, you provide your unique ID. So for that, this UUID4 was imported. Provide a unique ID and provide a name to your generation config, provider, which is Google, model parameters, temperature I've set 0.7, and the messages. So this is how you have created a generation config. Using the generation config, you can create a span, and using the span, you can then create multiple traces. Okay, within that trace, you will have logs, or it can be tool calls, it can be messages. So we are having a hierarchy that we're following. So as soon as you do that, the Maxim generation config has been set up from this code, using this code. As soon as you get a response, you fetch the text from that response and put that response as a message from the assistant. So that in the messages list, I'm appending one more message. Role will be assistant and content will be the result that we have just got. Then now we need to push the token usage information to Maxim. So over here, I'm creating an encoding variable. So ticktoken.get encoding 200k base, so that we are aligned with the type of encoding for the tokens, right? So over here, I'm creating a messages string. So I'm just connecting role and the actual content in the messages. So that's how you get the complete messages string. Then you fetch the prompt tokens. So from this message string, I'm basically counting the tokens using this encoding, right? So there are various types of encodings which you can learn from the internet, but this is the type of encoding that we want to use. And now I'm just counting the number of tokens in the final messages string. So that's what I'm doing over here, prompt tokens, and then the completion token. So just count the number of tokens in the result using the same encoding. So now I've got the prompt tokens, completion tokens. Now we need to send or push these tokens usage information also to Maxim. So you have generation.result. pass the same ID over here. Object is text completion, created the current time. Model is this model which we assigned over here, Gemini 2 Flash. Then you have the choices like the text that was generated, the result, the finish reason was stop, the usage, so prompt tokens, completion tokens, total tokens. That's how you create a map and push it to Maxim. So that's how you will be able to visualize there. Now Maxim result logging is also done. Now we are over here where we can create a class which is your final React agent. This was a chat class, right? Now I'm creating a React agent class. Just create a constructor, again define your memory, system prompt. So you're a helpful assistant. You have got these three tool calls which you can use, define the parameters and the types. That's how you initialize your agent. Create a session. So because we need to initialize Maxim. So first of all, you create a session. Then using the session, you create a trace, and then you define a conversation count as 0 because currently it is 0. As soon as you get messages from user assistant, you initialize this count and also push the messages to Maxim. Now using the trace, we will be sending the logs to Maxim. So you define or initialize the chat class, create an object. Using this chat, I can now chat with my Gemini. So as soon as you get a message, you increment the count, conversation count by 1. You have your main span. So you have to define the ID, which is again, I'm going to create a unique ID. Now you have got your main span. As soon as you get an event, let's say user sent a message, so input message, right? That will be your event, right? So using the span, you create an event, have your unique ID, create a unique ID and pass it as a user input, so message. So this main setup is now done. Full input, join the memory and the message, that will be your full input. Now you, based on the user input, you generate a response from the assistant. So use the chat object and create a response. Okay. Once you have got a response, you append your memory with the user message and the assistant message and you move ahead. If your Gemini says that, hey, I need to perform an action, you can perform the tool call. You have already provided the function name. You can directly use that function name and you can make the tool call. Provide the parameters and make the tool call. If the Gemini is asking for a tool call which is not defined in our list, you say invalid tool format, and that also you can pass to Maxim as a tool error. As soon as your tool call was successful, that will again act as an event. So tool span.event, create a unique ID and pass it as a tool call with the arguments to Maxim. So that's how you, whenever your agent is performing something, making a LLM call, making a tool call, got some error, you need to push those logs to Maxim so that as the agent builders, we can observe our agent, how it is performing pre-production or post-production, in both the cases. Okay, so that's how you build your agent. The code is provided and you can run this and see your logs on Maxim. Let's go and run all these cells. So till here we have already run. So let's start from here. React agent class, and then you can see once my React agent class is defined, now I can use that React agent class by creating an object agent who is Abraham Lincoln. It will call get summary, so it will make the call to Wikipedia, get the content, and then return the response. Now over here I will be using the second tool call for evaluating a mathematical expression. So second tool call, and this is for the third tool call where it can fetch my to-dos. Let's run this. Okay, it is running. Let's go to logs, and yes, I can see. Let's open this up. React conversation 1. Let's see this one. Let's open this up. So I have this user input who is Abraham Lincoln, Gemini generation. I can see the output cost. That means number of tokens consumed into the cost per token. That's how you calculate the output cost, input cost, total cost, tokens consumed, completion tokens, prompt tokens, total tokens as we sent from our React agent to Maxim. So here are they. And then I've got the user message and the tool call, get summary who is Abraham Lincoln. And that's how it make the tool invocation. Let's open this up, get summary, tool call was made. So this is the information about Abraham Lincoln. Do you want something else? That's how you follow up. Then this is the React conversation number 2, Gemini generation, again 3, 4, evaluating expression. So as you can see, we created a trace with a unique ID, and inside that we have our conversations properly logged on Maxim. So you can also run evaluations on these traces, which we will see in further videos. But I hope you understood how to create a React agent in Python, and then also use Maxim as your observability suite for your React agents. I hope you enjoyed this video. All the links to get started with Maxim are in the description. Best of luck for your AI journey.